On the very first day, a small group met along the pool deck. A man came out and introduced himself as Coach Kelly. That day, he spoke of his dream of building a team. He made it quite clear that he had not failed at anything he started, and that this team would be no different. He also stated that he was only interested in those who were willing to give their all and commit 100%.
Coach Ed Kelly, the head coach of the Northshore High swim team and the Hurricane Swim Club in Slidell, began his life in a place and in a way many of us could not imagine.
I was raised in an orphanage. I was in the orphanage like from when I was 6 months old till I got a scholarship to college. I had no parents, so I had to rely on myself.
From Boys Town, New York, to Western Maryland College, to the United States Army, Lieutenant Colonel Edward Kelly built an accomplished military career around tours of duty in the Korean and Vietnam Wars. But during a stint at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, his children thrust him into the role of swim coach, a move that would change his life forever.
So needless to say, I did a lot of phone calling, a lot of reading, a lot of watching, and I've been doing it ever since.
Kelly would take that thirst for swimming knowledge and love of the sport to his next station in the Dominican Republic, where he would start his own swim club. An eventual return to the United States found Kelly in New Orleans, where he would retire with an impeccable service record. Dick Bauer, a well-known swim coach in New Orleans, directed a group of Slidell parents to Ed to help lead their swim program. It was then that this self-made man embarked on his second career.
But I knew that if we were going to be successful, I couldn't do it on my own because I didn't have the income to do it. So we formed a parent board. And that's how we got started, and it worked out fine.
Fine would be an understatement, as the Hurricanes made waves immediately, becoming the premier swim team in this area. That notoriety caught the eye of local high schools as they reached out to Coach Kelly, asking him to start competitive swimming at their level.
I originally started with Pope John Paul and Pearl River. And then Slidell started up on its own. And then Northshore wanted to start. So I said, sure, I'll help you. All right, let's get those dolphin kicks off the wall.
While success came early for some individual swimmers at the state meet, cracking the top echelon of teams was a monumental task for the Panthers. With private schools dominating the championships through most of the 90s and early 2000s, a runner-up finish by the girls' team in 2007 was a foreshadowing of things to come.
The next year, we just went at it. You know, it was just simply saying, okay, if you want to win it, then you got to prove it in the water at practice. Turn them over! The more they see they are having success, the more hungrier they got.
With that appetite for winning, the Northshore girls won an impressive 3 straight state championships in 2008, 2009, and 2010, and then followed that up with runner-up finishes in 2011 and 2012. All this giving rise to the proclamation of a swimming dynasty at Northshore.
Coach Kelly, he built a dynasty at Northshore. He 3 state championships, 3 runners-up.
Shelly, come on.
He motivated kids He drove them to be excellent. He came around this campus. All the coaches flocked to him, and they all wanted inspiration because they knew how he had done it. He had so much experience. It was like being in a coaching clinic with Coach Kelly here on campus.
And the 200 IMs are with the 2-arm fly.
It was here that Coach Kelly watched over his swimmers, urging them to be the best that they could be, teaching them life lessons. Although it's silent now, his lessons will continue to resonate for years to come.
Those life lessons that he taught us were unbelievable, and they're all those lessons that we'll never ever forget.
I think it's one of the most important characteristics that an individual has. He's got to be able to look at himself in the mirror and say, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is how I'm going to get it, and what price are you going to pay to get that?
Setting goals that you could measure, that you could achieve, that were realistic. How to work towards those goals.
It can require effort and effort and effort. And it can't be screwing around in practice. It can't be missing practices. You're either going to be dedicated to what you're doing, or you're going to reap the benefits of losing. You people here, look, so what are you standing here for?
Discipline. That's the biggest thing he pushes, is discipline, because without it, we wouldn't be as successful.
If you were taking a break from a lap, he knew it. He knew it immediately, and you weren't going to get away with a thing.
I think he just wants us to be, like our motto is, be the best you can be. And I think he just wants the best out of every swimmer, just to push to your 110% and to never give up.
Be the best person that you could be, whether it was in school, athletics, just in your everyday life.
When you look at persistence, you're going to have to be able to accept the good with the bad. And just like I said, sometimes you have to learn how to lose before you win. And persistence is, if you lose, you got to step right back into it and win.
When you ran into that wall, how to fight through it and get over it and kind of work through that adversity.
The most important thing about a hard worker is they got to have the belief in themselves that in the long run, hard work pays off. And it may be not this year, maybe not next year, but in the long run, it pays off.
There's no other way but to work. If you're going to work, you work hard.
If you can help a child get through tough times, not only are they going to be success, but they'll look down the road and they'll look back and say, geez, look where I am today. Maybe I wouldn't have been here.
In high school, if I was having a rough time in either school with friends, Coach, I need to break up with his boyfriend, he would take time, he'd get you out of the water and take 7 to 10 minutes. It felt like you had been there a half hour. And he'd talk about boy troubles with us.
He cared about everything that you did as an individual, and the swimming was really secondary.
Father figure, mentor, and coach are 3 adjectives to describe Kelly. But it doesn't stop there. This man reached legendary status in the hearts and minds of his swimmers.
A lot of people talk about the impact that the Pat Summits of the world have on them, Vince Lombardi, Bear Bryant, those kind of coaches. Until you've been with somebody like that, you probably don't understand. And I feel that was our Pat Summit, Bear Bryant moment, spending the time that we spent with him.
While Coach Kelly would shrug off suggestions of such an iconic standing, he does give credit for all he's done to the man that was a father figure to him.
My football coach at the orphanage, his name was Jim Falk, and he was like a father to all of us. And he certainly set the example for us. You look back, I didn't have a mom and I didn't have a dad, but I had something to prove. And I wanted to prove to him that what he did for me, I'm bringing back to him.
Edward J. Kelly, devoted husband, devoted father, managed to fit 2 careers of service to others into his lifespan, 1 military and 1 coaching. In doing so, he leaves behind a legacy of hard work, self-discipline, and commitment, the very tenets by which he lived his life every day. a life that was unselfish, noble, and good.
Commitment is not 50%, it's not 75%, it's 100% every day.